Thank you. Yes.
Yes, absolutely. Welcome.
Alicia, good morning. Alicia, Monica, you indirectly met at our event as well.
Yeah.
Hey, Amy. Oh, look at this beautiful woman here.
Hi, morning. Good to see you.
Nice to see you. I saw the first presentation and it was great. And so I'm going to listen to this one too.
Wow. You even joined both. Thank you. This is amazing.
Happy to have you. Golden Seed, good to see you again. We saw each other last night. iPhone, Jade, Lee, Lori, Michelle, Saro, Svenja, Victoria. Cheng Tang also joins every time twice.
Wow.
Every Monday he's here with us 2 times.
Amazing.
Yeah. Okay, it's 8 o'clock, guys. Let's wait 1 more minute and then we kick it off.
Sure.
I hope that's okay as a German person to be 1 minute late when we kick it off.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Beautiful. Great. So Simon, you're also allowed to ask questions later on, even if you're here live and not online.
Welcome, Simon.
Thank you. Good morning.
Yes. And lucky us, we're able to enjoy some really delicious breakfast. You know, the nice hotels, they always have these super big buffets and the best like food ever, the best Chinese food and also Western food. So I'm a very lucky person this morning.
The croissants are really good.
Oh yes, we love your croissants.
Thank you. I'll definitely let Chef know.
Please.
Welcome.
Okay, guys, now let's kick it off. It's 8:01 and welcome to Monday Morning Motivation with Monica and me, Janine, this morning. So today we have MMM and M, Monica, right? So Monica is going to speak more about resilience at workplace. And the cool thing about her is the reason why I really wanted her to join us at MMM. She worked in so many different countries and continents, a country I have not even heard of, to be honest. So she's going to share very interesting examples from even having been with the same company all of her life. Which is rare to find nowadays. So she has been with Kempinski forever. Kempinski is like a 5-star luxurious hotel all around the world. Good German quality. Before I hand it over to Monica, if you are new to Monday Morning Motivation, feel free to scan the QR code. You can join one of our 5 WeChat groups and be surrounded by a supportive community with like-minded, positive people. And as you know, Maria, my co-founder, and I, we do all of this for free. It's our great pleasure. But if you love what we are doing, please support us. Here on the left side, we have a QR code. We give 50% of your donations to the 1 Million Tree Project. And it's, what they do is they plant trees in Inner Mongolia. So we really try to do more and more good things for the environment as well. And guys, if you ever miss our webinar, no problem. We got you covered. So every webinar is online as well. Okay, let's, I'm nearly done. We nearly got you. So we also have a 365 Days of Motivation book or ebook. So if you need more motivation, we have a lot of great journaling exercises for your happiness, for your success included, goal setting, and so on. And now I would say, Monica, the stage is yours. Guys, after 20 minutes, you have the chance to ask a lot of questions to Monica as well. But now, Monica, please, I'm so grateful to have you here. And thanks for having me at Kempinski Hotel Shanghai this morning here. So maybe you can tell us a bit more before we move on to resilience at workplace.
With pleasure. So first of all, thank you for being here and thank you for having me. I think it's a wonderful way to kick off a new week on this sunny Monday morning with you and here. So I'm excited. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Now, just maybe a little introduction to me, my person, to additional to what you just already mentioned. Yes, I've been working 21 years with Kempinski. It's more than half of my life. And I have been working and growing really from an intern to where I am today.
Wow.
And I held several general manager or interim general manager positions, and was also working on a regional level. And I have 2 degrees from Cornell University. So just to sum that up, it's not that I want to say how great I am. No, it's just I want to explain to people how did at least a little bit of my career path really go. Overall, yes, I've worked 5 years in the Middle East, 2 years in Africa, 4 years already in China, Southeast Asia, 8 years ago. And I've been working in Europe and back in Germany. And now since 1.5 years, I'm back in China, in wonderful Shanghai. And in order to just go and move towards resilience, our topic this morning, I arrived here, or I touched down in Shanghai on the 2nd of February, 2020.
Guys,
So just think about
2nd of February 2020. So that was so interesting to hear, like when she came here and how she made the decision. What was at that time? Tell us more about it.
Also, to be honest, obviously, going through a pandemic is really also the first time for me, not only at work, but also personal. Going back to September 2019, I got this great offer to move back to China, to go to Shanghai, and to really hold my first proper general manager assignment in this beautiful hybrid here in the heart of Shanghai downtown. Kempinski, the One Suites Hotel. Long stay guests, short stay guests. You can stay with us for a night, or I have guests who stay with us in 6 years.
Wow.
And so amazing. I was all over excited. So I flew in here in September for 2 days, had my interviews, got the job, was excited. Went back. At the time I lived in Geneva, in the French part of Switzerland. And my flight was booked for the 1st of February. My apartment was ready to be handed over. Well, here I am last week of January, and we all remember eventually that Europe was still in a way a safe zone. We didn't really feel it over there or in Switzerland. And China was sort of the epicenter at the time.
I mean, everybody was leaving China at that time when the COVID slowly started to happen.
Yeah, that's true. Slowly but surely, that was what it is. But everybody around me said, okay, the decision is yours. You can stay or you can go. But from my side, I just said, okay, here I am taking a conscious decision. I'm going. And I was confident to take that decision. So when we say, and I was most probably on a resilience level, that I said, okay, somehow, one way or the other, I'm going to be fine. And I'm going to be very fine in China. I had no doubts at all whatsoever. So and that was me taking the conscious decision to fly. We were only 2 foreigners on the flight. And I remember the lady next to me, she asked me, she said, okay, about halfway into the flight, she said, I need to ask you something.
Okay.
Why are you going to China now? So I just looked at her and I said, very simple. I have a great job offer in one of the greatest cities in the world. And of course, I'm going. Obviously, then February, March, April, we applied different crisis measures to our management style. But also, it gave me time actually to arrive. And yes, sure, it was scary. I'm not saying that it was a lightheaded jump, you know. And I still remember the first time I took the mask on, and that was just when the bus from the boarding gate to the plane, and I knew, okay, now there's really no way back.
I'm getting goosebumps.
No way back. I put the mask on. I said, okay, now no way back. It turns out, when I look back now, that it was one of the best decisions ever in my life. Just because I was very well welcomed here by a wonderful team. And together we have come a long way in the last 1.5 years. So it was a special situation. But yes, resilience, decision taken outside of your comfort zone, but also be confident. As there's a lot of I know, a lot of bullet points that we might want to discuss when it comes to this topic.
So I try to brave enough. Raj was just saying.
Raj, thank you.
I try to summarize this a bit in a chat group. So let's talk about the first thing. So resilience at workplace. You just mentioned making conscious decisions. Can you tell us a bit more of what this has to do with resilience at work?
Take a decision and you already grow. And it doesn't matter in this moment if it's really the right decision or if it might be a wrong decision, but take a decision and then execute. I think that is something that comes in, and how really, you always have a 50-50 chance. It might be the right decision, great. It might be a wrong judgment or decision that you have done, then you have to deal with the consequences. And that subsequently will work on your resilience muscle. Trust me. You fail. You took a wrong decision. You get critical feedback that you don't know yet how to deal with. Trust me, it's all good for you in a way. As I know, looking back, and connecting the dots, and it still happens to me every day. I can make a mistake every day. But I know also that the world will continue to turn, and you will get up the next day. So just bounce back, and your resilience muscle will get stronger and stronger through your own growth. And not only at work, by the way, also in your private personal life.
Yeah, because it's interconnected or related. And another point you just mentioned was making a mistake. You mentioned this a couple of times already now, and also earlier at 7 o'clock. Tell us a bit more about this.
For me, it's all about empowerment. I mean, we said in the beginning, why did I stay with Kempinski so long? Well, empowerment. Empowerment is something very important. So the company empowers you and will back you up, even though if you might make a mistake or might fail or take eventually a wrong path at some point when you're at a crossroads. I always had the feeling I've been backed up. And I do the same with my team. I have a wonderful team here at Kempinski, the One Suites Hotel. It's about 95 individuals, all Chinese, wonderful people, very hungry to work. And this kind of empowerment, this when I say, okay, go out, take a decision, even if it's a wrong decision, I will back you up no matter what, because you were great enough to already take a decision. And of course, in China, and I think, again, when I look back at my international experience, but China itself is very particular when it comes to, failing. We don't like to fail. We don't really like to make mistakes. We might lose face. I respect that. I respect it to 100%. So the magic really happens when you see your team and when you analyze the behavior, when you say, okay, maybe this person is not yet ready. I will not stretch too much. I'll leave it because I know the person will come out of the cave when it's ready, when he or she is ready. But make a mistake, get back. And I have different experiences here in China with my team when I say, just tell me what happened. We have, for example, in our head of department team, we have a shift, it's called manager on duty. And that shift applies especially to the weekends or public holidays, or whenever I get the luxury of having a day off, which is important, guys. Balance out your life. So I would like that this hotel is 24/7 covered with senior managers. So if there's anything happening, or if a guest needs special assistance, that there is a senior manager on duty. So recently, one of our head of departments took a decision in order to recover service failure. There was a complaint. And so he took a decision and said, okay, I'm going to take the night off, meaning I will give the night complimentary to the guest as a service recovery. I totally backed him up on this night and on the revenue that might we have lost, but he had a reason to do so.
Okay.
And that was kind of the recovery process. Even though another person, and that person was our finance manager at the time.
The finance manager.
And finance manager is great, yes, of course. But I need to please now both, right? I need to say, this is so great that you have taken this decision. And then the finance manager, but I don't agree because the complaint was not as big to give that room night. Okay, so now there's me. And I'm in the middle, and I can certainly overrule if I have to, because at the end of the day, I'm still general manager. And if I, even though I describe myself as a non-hierarchical leader, even though if it's needed, I will go in and say, okay, that's enough discussion now. We just go for it, for what it is. But again, that manager felt, okay, now, did I do this wrong? Was it maybe, I should not have done it? But I backed him up. I fully said, I'm taking the responsibility for it. I will sign the paper and I will go and explain it to whoever the higher instance. I will take this responsibility. And it really showed also to the rest of the team members, it's like, okay, that doesn't mean that I back up everybody that he can go out now and give 10 nights complimentary. No, it has to be in relation.
Mhm.
And let's discuss this before. And let's just always see the balance of your decision. But at the end of the day, people saw, it's actually great to take a decision. And I'm not being left alone standing in the rain, because together we are stronger. So, yeah, as an example to that.
Do you maybe have an example from your own life how making mistakes or taking a decision actually helped you to become more resilient?
Yeah, it was, to be honest, resilience itself came only a little later in my career. Let's say about 3 years ago.
Oh, only 3 years ago.
Yeah, where I understood what it is that kept me going.
Why did it not come earlier?
I'm sure it was there earlier. I just wasn't aware of it. What is it that definitely keeps you going and that makes you bounce back every time when something didn't go right, or when you were feeling alone, or when you did not feel so much full of power and motivation to get up and do this all over again? 3 years ago, I had that kind of like wow moment for myself, but it was a hard one also on the other hand. So I was interim managing our beautiful hotel in Italy, in Venice, in San Clemente Island. It's absolutely stunning. It's a leading hotel of the world. We hosted over there Hollywood stars, actors, the beauty and the famous, let's say. It was really great. But I was interim in charge, and I took a decision for a hiring of a senior position that I haven't really aligned with my superior at the time.
Okay.
And my superior was not the happiest to hear that. But I moved already so much forward in that recruitment process that unfortunately a way back was almost not possible. But so yeah, we got into a really severe communication conversation, and I didn't know how to get out of that situation, and it was on an emotional level that is always challenging then when it gets on an emotional level, and I really didn't know if he would ever trust me again in my decision taking, because I should have just aligned with him, and I didn't. Okay, fair enough. I wanted to move fast with that candidate, and I just went ahead and I already gave a verbal yes to the job. Well, here I am. My superior didn't agree to it. I had to go back to the candidate and to say, listen, we can't give you the job. But moreover, the fact on that trust level, in this moment, I wasn't eventually backed up completely, which is fine. I got critical feedback, which is okay, but I had to deal with this. So I didn't know if I would have still a job or not, as it was on a very severe level. But I said to myself, okay, I slept it off, or tried at least to sleep it off. And the next morning we had a good conversation with a clear mind. And I found a way out. I approached the whole situation solution-driven. So I informed the candidate that we are unable to give her the job at this time. But I had to work very hard to get the trust of my boss back. Even though it was never meant to be in a way, I just wanted the best. But in this moment, I just didn't align. So it was good. He empowered me. And he said, yes, decision-making is great, Monica, but you have to align this with me, because there's a lot of money that stands behind. And he was right.
Yeah.
But I had to learn this the hard way. But I think at that point, I was just asking, what makes you so resilient? What makes you so strong to go back? And that's where I explored more the topic of resilience. And that's where I realized that there is this muscle, and that I'm continuously working on it, not only in my career life, but also in my personal life. It helps me to deal much better with a lot of things.
I can see your muscle is growing. Yeah. You just mentioned, I just wrote it down in the chat group, making a mistake and learning from it. Yeah. And at 7:00, we had a very interesting question. And the lady was asking, you are basically saying, even to your staff, you are allowed to make mistakes.
Yeah.
and you're backing them up, basically, that they feel more comfortable to make a decision and to make mistakes. But the question this morning was, what if they make the mistake over and over again?
Yeah, it was a great question. Sure. I mean, it's not all silky gloves and hand holding. It's still, we have a business to run. And if a mistake happens over and over again, and that person doesn't learn from that mistake, then I need to find out why. Why is that mistake happening? What is wrong? Is that because the person might be careless? Is that because the person doesn't know? Is that because the person doesn't have the tools to work for it, to work on it? I need to find out why. But it certainly is also that there is a moment that you cannot accept that anymore. And if that person doesn't learn, then why? What's the real problem or reason? Actually, reason is the nicer word to say. What stands behind that? So sure, you need to set limits and boundaries. It's not just, okay, go out there and make a mistake every day and not learning from it. No, grow from it, learn from it, avoid it the next time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you just mentioned boundaries, and I actually remember in one of the speeches where I heard you speak the first time a few months ago, there was an event here at Kempinski, and I heard Monica speak, and I was like, wow, I need this woman at Monday Morning Motivation, although I knew you before. But what is the correlation between boundaries? We also had work-life balance. This was a question this morning. Work-life balance, boundaries, resilience at work. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
As a work-life balance is also something that only that I paid attention on a little later in my career. And that's one thing where people ask me, okay, what would you do different in terms of your career growth? And the only advice that I would give people is really pay more attention to your work-life balance and to yourself. Because when I think about back at the early stages in my career, in my 20s and even until my mid-30s, it was really all about career growth. I didn't pay attention to my me time, to my whatever, to sport, to spending enough time with your family and friends. I just, put all my cards on one point, and that was my career. I'm not sorry about that. I'm just sorry a little about the way how I treated myself. So, and that is the only thing where I definitely have to say, pay attention to it. You don't have to work 14, 16, 18 hours a day, 7 days a week. Sorry. In my point of view, that is a very old-fashioned approach to it. You need to finish your work in your time. Make sure you have your time management in place. And for me personally, I need those reminders from time to time. So I have them in my calendar and they pop up. Like, for example, today I have it in there, 5 p.m., leave the office now. Sometimes I'm adding a little emoji or something like that just to motivate me really to leave the office now. And I've learned, look, the hotel or the business will continue to run. And actually leadership is what happens when you're not there. And so I say, guys, you know what to do. In case if you have to reach me, go ahead, but you're ready. And this is also, again, empowering. And that gives me time to rejuvenate, to digest, to have my me time, to do whatever makes me happy outside of work.
Amazing. I think it's interesting that you mentioned this boundaries, work-life balance. I guess many of us in here, we work a lot, especially in China. We're also used to working a lot. In big cities like Shanghai, Shenzhen, it's 996 or even more. I don't know if that's my friend who works for a big consulting company who's joining here. We all work, many of us like more than 10 hours a day sometimes. But it's a very good reminder for us to create boundaries. Sorry.
I just would like to add to this. I think we all work sometimes not only 10 hours, but look at WeChat. Look at this. We're all of a sudden we are available almost 24/7. Set boundaries. To be honest, if I get a WeChat message, even obviously a hotelier's life is a bit different. I'm not really having a traditional job from 9 to 6, but I can set my own boundaries. So that means, sorry, in the evening, if there's really like nothing that needs to be addressed right now, that there's an emergency happen in the hotel or whatever, sorry, I'm just replying the next day. I'm replying at my own pace. That doesn't mean, again, you need to see how fast, and I know we're speaking about fast and easy access and one-stop shop and so on in order to grow business here. Fine, I totally agree on that. But set your boundaries. So I personally, I'm not responding 24/7. Sorry, I also have my time where I need to digest, and sometimes it's even better to respond to WeChat just the day after, and not so fast. If you have to think about something first. So
Yeah.
just want to say that, be careful. I love to be digital. I love to be connected. Personally, again, this is my personal view. Everybody has to decide this for him or herself. But for me, yeah, I need that. Otherwise, it just takes too much of you.
Yeah.
In my point of view.
You mentioned another point earlier. You mentioned feedback quickly. And I think especially in German culture, we grew up with like this giving feedback, and you mentioned it helped you before. So what's the connection of feedback and how it can help you to become resilient and to bounce back at work?
Yeah, feedback, very important. I mean, not every feedback you might receive in the course of your career or your life is necessarily positive. Some other people might have different feedback, and it's then on you to really filter, well, do I relate to this? Is there maybe something, is it relevant to me or not? And how much does it affect you personally, And I think, again, I always would say, be open to feedback no matter what, but sometimes it's hard. It's hard to listen to, right? Sometimes it's hard getting critical feedback. Sometimes, or might set you back, might set you really back, and like, okay, how I deal with it is really go back. I listen to the feedback and I filter that feedback, but I need to digest it as well.
Yeah.
And so I always try not to get too emotional, because at this point in time, you also need to see, is this a feedback that affects you personally, or is it a feedback on something that can be done eventually more effective or better the next time, or is it really something that you can work with? And subsequently, I do believe that it will make you grow, but I need always to have a little bit of time just to digest it and then to come back stronger.
But
bounce back. Yeah.
If I understood correctly, you said 95 of your employees, they're all Chinese. And feedback is handled a little bit different in Chinese culture compared to us Germans. So how do you implement this here in your Chinese team?
Yeah. Feedback giving is very, very important. But obviously here we give feedback in one-on-one meetings or performance reviews. And I think that's important. Whereas praise obviously is being given in the group or in meetings, because that's wonderful. And I like to praise. And I think also, feedback, if there is something that we need to discuss, it's one-on-one. And I think that is much better received in my team right now here in China. And it's much more productive. But obviously, praise is also important to motivate people and celebrate success.
Yes.
But of course, you need to learn on how the culture you're working with replies to your style, and then you need to adapt your leadership style, your management style. Yeah, it's a challenge, but it's also a great opportunity. So,
So we have a few interesting questions in the group chat. So before I open the floor for everybody else here, what are your last comments or sharings you would like to give to the community when it comes to resilience at work?
I would just really like to stress that it's important also to fall down sometimes. It's important to fail sometimes. It's really, from my own experience, it just made me grow. It gave me confidence. And with this confidence now, life has become a lot easier, and there's so much more. There's a whole new world that really opened. So I can just say, I would like to empower you all of making mistakes, going out there and exploring everything else outside of your comfort zone, because that is really where the magic is happening, from my own experience. And happy resilience muscle training. That would be just to say, to sum that up.
So I had the pleasure to observe, I know this sounds creepy, to observe Monica in different angles. I was lucky to see you being surrounded with a lot of your general manager colleagues of different Kempinskis. This is where we actually met in Nanjing.
True.
I saw you speak before. I saw you interact with your staff. I saw you privately at an event. And one of the most amazing things I really think about Monica is she's constantly empowering people, no matter if you're a woman, if you're young, old, what your race is, what language you speak. It doesn't matter. She's constantly there to empower people, and it's just so inspiring to see for me as an attribute. I also would like to do more. And beyond this, Monica literally lived in so many different countries of the world where I think it takes a lot of courage. She mentioned getting out of the comfort zone. Like she lived in a few places in Africa. I had not even heard that country name before, in the Middle East. And like she lived in China. Now this is the third time, 3 different places, not only the big cities. So that is very inspiring. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Janine. Thank you.
Okay, let's go to the chat. So we had Raj saying, right or wrong, take a decision and act on it. But you should be very sure about your decision. Make mistakes. Don't be afraid. Just don't repeat your mistakes.
Exactly.
I wrote this to my son. He's sleeping. Oh, Raj is joining from India. It's 5:42 a.m.
Oh.
Thank you, Raj, for joining.
Raj, amazing.
And Yolanda is asking, I think the biggest challenge is the doubt of it oneself is fine, to accept one's own performance and decision. And she's asking, how are you dealing with your doubts, Monica? That's a good question.
That's a great one. And sure, doubts. Yeah. Again, I think in order to stay humble, which is very important to me, doubt is coming across my mind every day. It's like, okay, can I really do this? Did I do something like that before? Am I doing the right thing? Or is it the wrong thing? I listen to my doubts, but I also have to say I don't give too much to them. I listen to them, but then I take my decision. I just go for it, but again with confidence. And I always say, somehow it's gonna be good. It's gonna work. And I know this might be naive to one or the other listener this morning, and say, oh yeah, but it's like, okay, doubts are great. Again, I'd like to listen to the doubts of myself. But if I, from my own experience, listen too much, I'm going to get small and I will lose confidence. And I don't want to doubt so much. For me personally, I really want to just move forward and be strong, yet vulnerable. Okay. And I think that's another thing which is important, that gives me sometimes this lightness in making decisions. It's really like, okay, it's always going to somehow work, whatever it is. I'm going to be fine in China, no matter what. And it turned out it was. But yeah, it was a 50-50 thing. Did I doubt it? I doubted it for a short period of time.
Okay.
I doubted. I said, oh my God, but what if not? And what if you, I don't know, and what if you can't be a general manager yet? What if you, I don't know, what if you are not generating enough revenues up to the expectation? What if you, what if your team doesn't connect with you? So many doubts, so many what ifs. But to be honest, if I would have listened too much to them, I would not have been exploring or experiencing what I'm experiencing right now or have. Doubts are a good thing. I think they're also kind of an alert mechanism that we have within us. But I personally don't listen too much. I know sometimes that's a bit extreme, and for some people that might be, again, naive, or but for me it works out. Yeah.
Okay, thanks for sharing.
But thanks for the question.
As Jade was just saying, strong but vulnerable, beautiful. I think Monica is also one of the most positive people I know. Let's move on to the next question here. How do you practice this culture of making mistakes when you're in an organization where it is not encouraged? That's a good question.
That's a great one. Also, first of all, I have not worked for an organization that doesn't encourage mistakes. So as I said, this is it's a little difficult, but I could just try to put myself in your place, or in the place that you are describing. I think it is wow. I would just imagine it would limit me so much, because I would be afraid of making mistakes every day, like with everything, and it would suppress quite a lot of my doing, my thoughts, my learning, and my growth. I Again, for me, how I would deal with it is really, can I really work for this organization with all my heart, my blood, sweat, and tears, or is this organization eventually not so good for me, my personal growth, and my spirit, and my motivation? So right now, I would say I could not work for an organization that would unfortunately limit me so much, that I'm afraid of making a mistake. Because just think about it. If you are afraid of doing something, you will not even try.
I think there's research out there that shows if you are afraid of making mistakes, you actually make more mistakes.
Exactly.
And it also goes back to your core values, what you just meant. Know what are your own values, that you can also choose the right company culture, the right boss, department, or company to work for.
Absolutely.
Good question.
Yeah, thank you.
Nice. Okay, good. Next one from Yolanda. This is, she also asked the one with the doubts before the question.
Yeah.
This is in a decision part. How about the part after having taken a decision, like with your former boss situation? I think this goes back to the doubts.
It goes back to the doubt. So basically the question I wanted to ask was like, okay, when you have taken a decision and actually you feel okay, or you have expressed your challenges and what you're facing, or you have just expressed something and then you get negative feedback, and then like, how do you deal with this doubt about having expressed, if it was good to express yourself or not, or this kind of things?
Thank you, Yolanda. Yeah, going back to this very intense situation that I had encountered, and how I dealt with it was really conversation with my boss at the time, explaining him why I took that decision and what were my thoughts behind it. He still didn't agree to it, and he would have loved me to align with him before. It was difficult. And obviously, sure, it set me back. I would lie if I would say, oh, I was like the most, the most flourishing the next morning after we had this rather straightforward conversation. But it took me some time. I really had, it took me time. But looking back, I'm grateful for this conversation that we had, and for the feedback he had given me. And today, he is still one of my mentors, and I can reach out to him. And I think in this moment, it was just important for me to remember, this has nothing to do with me personally. This has nothing to do with me as a person, as Monica. This has just something to do with business. I have taken a wrong decision without aligning from him. And there was a lot of money, of course, in that kind of senior position that we wanted to recruit involved. But again, it helped me to say, it has nothing to do with my person. It has just to do with the situation that was unfortunate.
Yeah.
And that helped me. But it took me some time just to get
so
myself.
this is you could say this is like your main strategy as well to kind of like live with the decisions you make, because I feel like it's really nice that you say like, okay, I don't want to overthink things too much, I want to go with my intuition, or I just want to do it as well, and not to overthink too much, because that would just block you from moving forward or from doing new things. But when you have done something, then you would try to really define, okay, that is a decision I've made in this regards, has nothing to do with me as a person. And that is like the major way you're keeping yourself out of doubting yourself afterwards. Is that right?
Yes, Yolanda, in a way, yes. But I just would like to stress one thing. If I define that this doesn't have to do anything with my person, I would still like to say that I'm taking certainly responsibility for every
Yes,
decision that
definitely.
I make. I mean,
Mhm.
that's just something. It's not, oh yeah, I'm just stepping out. Oh, now I have taken eventually a wrong decision, and I'm stepping out of it because it doesn't have to do with me anything. No, this is exactly
Yeah,
so.
no, sure.
The feedback that I receive doesn't have to do anything with my person. I learned this, Yolanda. It was on my assignment back in Qatar, in Doha. We were opening, it was a high pressure working environment. We had to open a beautiful, huge palace hotel on a private island in Qatar.
Wow.
And it was amazing. I mean, it was a once in a lifetime hotelier's experience, I would definitely say. But 6 months, we have not done anything else than working, eventually finding 3 hours sleep in between the days, quick shower, go back to work. But we managed it. It was an amazing, amazing assignment. At the time, my general manager, he was a very, very, very tough manager. He was a very straightforward manager. He, of course, also stood under tremendous pressure in order to open this palace hotel, this golden palace hotel. But he taught me so many things. But one thing is definitely, we don't take things personal. We leave our egos at home and we don't bring them to work. And I think those two things, I started to apply them, and meanwhile they have become a habit. So life is much lighter on my shoulders. Yeah, not only life, but my career life is much easier on my shoulders, because I know it doesn't have to do anything. I don't take it personal. And okay, ego is a whole lot of different other topic, but I think that helped me a lot. Yeah.
Wow, that was very powerful what you said. And also this morning you quickly mentioned earlier the recovery, and what made you also resilient was reflecting on it.
Yeah.
And taking a bit of me time. So you said like the next day everything looked a little bit differently.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the last question in here in the chat. Also, Kieran was saying thanks for the sharing. Yes, Kieran, Monica, I'll definitely make sure you two finally meet soon.
We have to. Kieran, thank you.
Golden Seed was asking, how do you empower people who don't understand you? Anyone, everyone, or is there any relationship attached to it?
So you mean doesn't understand me? Is that in terms of language, or doesn't understand me? Sorry, on what level? I would just need a little.
Feel free to unmute yourself, Golden Seed.
Golden Seed.
If you want to.
But if not,
okay, I'm good now. So I actually mean like, so if people don't understand like why you're doing what you do, or like why you're doing certain things in your way, but not the way they expect you to do. Like how do you like tackle that?
That's a great question, Golden Seed. Now I understand. And yes, I have encountered that in several of my assignments. Obviously, in the due course of the years and with your experience, you are actually creating some kind of your own way of managing, of leading, and of being with people. I think definitely. I mean, when it comes to, for example, my assignment here in Shanghai. Sure, the first 3 months, I have my own theory with this 3 months and then 6 months and 9 months and 12 months. But the first 3 months is really to connect. And you have to connect. You need to build that trust moment with your team members in order to really convince them that eventually looking at from a different angle can be successful for all of us. and we call it win-win situation. And when then the first situations come in where you have a win-win situation, where you can celebrate success, the team will slowly but surely buy in. So that is more leading from behind, right? I mean, that is when it comes, okay, take your time, connect, trust. And it doesn't matter, language barriers, doesn't really matter if you speak the same language. Really, it doesn't matter. When I was living in Yinchuan, in Ningxia, 8 years ago, not everybody by far spoke English. We were only 30 foreigners in a city. It was my first time in China. I didn't really know much about Chinese traditions, Chinese cultures, how do Chinese people work, and what's their ambitions, and so beautiful. And to be honest, there's always a way on how to connect with people, not only through language. So I'm not afraid of any language barrier. I'm also not afraid of any different approach. And I think it's really about this learning from me too. It's not my way or highway, right? I mean, we would still sit and we would do it really in a very, like, we would ask each other the questions, what would you do? How would you handle this? It's not always that I need to decide, and I actually don't like to take decisions that affect the whole team by myself. Mm-hmm. I like to decide this together. This also gives empowerment, and it will integrate and involve people in that. And it's again this kind of non-hierarchical approach. But if you have a team member who definitely cannot relate to your style or the style of the organization, then we again need to see if this is something that is more positive or more like kind of frustrating to that team member. Because if somebody can really not relate to that, then maybe it might be the wrong organization. This is not just my style. This is really when I look, because I'm a Kempinski ambassador as well, of course, and I live our DNA values. And if I have then somebody who can definitely not relate to our philosophy, then we need to see what's the next step on that. Mm-hmm. Yolanda, I hope that answers. Sorry, golden seed. Sorry, Yolanda. Well, yeah, golden seed. I hope that answers a little bit or gives you a little bit of a thought process. Yeah, thank you, golden seed.
Yeah, by the way, golden seed said she's in Yinchuan.
You are in Yinchuan?
Yep.
This is wonderful. I'm coming for a visit in the second week of July.
Wow.
Maybe we can meet for a coffee.
Yeah, I'd like to, but I'm not sure I'm still here though.
Oh, okay, I understand. Okay, never mind.
So, yeah, but Monica, Ayag is also from Yinchuan. I didn't know that.
Wow.
This is wonderful, guys. I miss Yinchuan so much. It was an amazing 2 years that I lived there. I have still many friends there, and I look so much forward. In the second week of July, I'm planning, it's a private trip, but I will definitely go back to the Kempinski in Yinchuan, and we will certainly enjoy some great wines that are coming from Yinchuan and the region, and that amazing lamp. And oh my God, I just can't wait. But yeah,
someone is in love.
It fills my heart, Yinchuan, yeah, and a life-changing experience for me. Mm-hmm. So greetings to Yinchuan.
Monica is in all of our 5 WeChat groups, so you can definitely connect with Monica directly. Please. Thank you so much for your time this morning. I know you have the first meeting coming up in a few minutes. So yes. Just for everybody else, that, so I just quickly shared our, now what am I doing? So here, this is our lineup for next week. Please join Maria, my co-founder, and me next Monday. So we're gonna speak about positive intelligence, strengthening your sage. Last month we worked on weakening your saboteur. This time it's gonna be about strengthening your sage. Like we were speaking about the inner doubts, right? So, and beyond this, for everybody who's interested in neuro-linguistic programming, I know many of us, we want to improve the relationship with ourselves, relationship to other people, communication, negotiation. NLP is one of the cores that you can learn to really change your life. It changed my life last year. you know, we work a lot with Adrian and Chris, amazing trainers. I highly recommend to join their next training. Also, they wanted to support more the current situation with COVID, and a lot goes back also to mindset, whether it's in India or anywhere else. So here, Raj, and for everybody else, if you have Indian friends or anybody else who's interested, Adrian and Chris are gonna give 4 free webinars worth $300. Scan the QR code and just log in and get yourself to the next level. And beyond this, I would now like to say thank you so much for joining. If you are not in our WeChat group yet, just scan the QR code. Maria and I are happy to add you. And guys, go out there, take all the opportunities. As you know, I love to say, start taking action. You heard something that Monica said, it inspired you, start taking action. Like, start to reflect on making mistakes, how to do things differently. Start to integrate some of the tips that she gave you today in your own life. So happy Monday. And I look forward to seeing you next week again. And Monica, thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
Guys, stay at the Kempinski. I highly recommend it.
Visit
Whether
us.
it's Nanjing, Jinan is opening very soon. I was also in Taiwan, amazing. Shanghai has actually the biggest Kempinski, right?
That's right, in Pudong.
In the world?
Exactly. Yeah,
The
yes,
biggest
in the world.
Kempinski
Yeah,
in the
with
world.
almost 700 rooms. Yeah, it's big.
Yes. All right, everybody. Happy Monday.
Thank you. Happy Monday. Have a great week. Thank you.
Thanks, Monica.
Thank you.